The giant alien ship appeared in Earth's sky without warning. It was huge, bigger than any human spaceship. Its strange metal skin shone silver in the sunlight as it moved into orbit around Earth. Inside the International Space Station, Captain Do-hyun Kim looked out the window at the alien vessel. His heart beat fast, but his face stayed calm. As Earth's chosen ambassador, he had trained for this day for years. "They're sending a message," said Dr. Jisoo Park, the scientist, standing next to him. Her eyes were fixed on the screen showing strange symbols. "The computer is translating it now." Commander Taeyong Lee, a tall man with a serious face, moved closer to the screen. "They call themselves the Thalaxians. They want to meet us." Professor Mina Kang, who studied different cultures, smiled with excitement. "The first aliens to visit Earth. This will change everything." Captain Do-hyun nodded. "Tell them we welcome them. We will meet in the main room in 1 hour." The team worked quickly to prepare. They put on their best uniforms and made sure the station looked clean and organized. Captain Do-hyun checked every detail. This first meeting would decide how aliens saw all humans. At exactly the agreed time, a strange light appeared in the middle of the main room. It grew brighter until everyone had to shield their eyes. When the light faded, 3 tall figures stood there. The Thalaxians were unlike anything the humans had imagined. They stood on 2 legs like humans. But that's where the similarities ended. Their skin was pale blue with small scales that caught the light. They had 4 eyes, 2 large ones in front and 2 smaller ones on the sides of their heads. Instead of a nose, they had small slits, and their mouths were small and round. The tallest alien stepped forward. Its voice came out as strange clicks and whistles, but the translation device on the wall turned the sounds into words. "I am Director Kurthal, lead researcher of the Galactic Union vessel Endless Inquiry. We come in peace to study your world and determine if Earth is ready to join the larger galactic community." Captain Do-hyun bowed slightly. "I am Captain Do-hyun Kim of Earth. We welcome you and hope for friendly relations between our worlds." The alien's 4 eyes blinked at different times, creating an unsettling effect. "Your world interests us greatly. Your species has advanced quickly in technology, yet you still rely heavily on emotions we find primitive." Dr. Jisoo stepped forward. "Different evolutionary paths lead to different ways of thinking. We would be happy to explain our biology and psychology if you would share yours." The alien made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Yes, evolution. That is exactly what interests us most about your planet, the strange paths it has taken here." For the next 3 hours, the humans and aliens talked. The Thalaxians explained that they were part of a group of over 50 alien species that worked together. They traveled the galaxy looking for new intelligent life. When they found it, they studied it to see if it was ready to join them. "Your planet has the most unusual ecosystem we have ever seen," said one of the smaller aliens, who introduced itself as Science Officer Vextal. "On most worlds, dangerous things look dangerous. Predators have obvious weapons. Poisonous plants have warning colors, but here some of your deadliest creatures look harmless or even, what is your word? Cute," Director Kurthal said. "It makes no logical sense." Professor Mina smiled. "That's because in Earth's evolution, there's been an arms race between predators and prey. Some predators evolved to look harmless to trick their prey. Some dangerous animals evolved to look pretty so others would stay away." The aliens' body language showed clear discomfort. They shifted their weight, and their small head tentacles pulled close to their skulls. "Deception as a survival strategy," Director Kurthal said slowly. "This explains much about human behavior as well. Your tendency to hide true thoughts, your concept of lying." Commander Taeyong frowned. "Are you saying your species doesn't lie?" "Not as you understand it," replied the alien. "In our evolution, clear communication was always more valuable than deception. Dangerous things look dangerous. Safe things look safe." As the meeting continued, Captain Do-hyun noticed the aliens becoming more and more interested in Earth's wildlife. They asked detailed questions about animals that looked harmless but weren't, like the brightly colored poison frogs, cute but venomous platypuses, and tiny deadly octopuses. Finally, Director Kurthal made a request. We wish to establish a small research base on your planet to study these evolutionary oddities directly. The humans looked at each other. This was moving faster than they had expected. Where would you want this base? Asked Captain Do-hyun carefully. Somewhere with diverse wildlife. Your Korean peninsula seems suitable, mountainous regions with varied ecosystems, yet developed enough for our needs. Captain Do-hyun thought, for a moment. This could be good for Earth. A chance to learn alien technology and science. But it could also be dangerous if the aliens had hidden plans. I will need to discuss this with Earth's governments, he said. But speaking personally, I welcome the idea. The alien's mouth formed what might have been a smile. Excellent. We find your species fascinating, Captain Do-hyun Kim. Especially how you have survived and thrived on a world where danger often wears a friendly face. After the aliens returned to their ship, the human team gathered to discuss what had happened. They seemed peaceful, said Dr. Jisoo, and think what we could learn from them. I don't trust them completely, Commander Taeyong said. Their interest in our deceptive wildlife seems too focused. Professor Mina nodded thoughtfully. They come from a world where things are exactly what they seem. Maybe that's why they're so interested in Earth. They've never seen a place where appearances can be deceiving. Captain Do-hyun looked out the window at the huge alien ship. Whatever their true reasons, this is humanity's chance to join something bigger than ourselves. We need to be careful but also open to this opportunity. Little did they know that Earth's evolutionary quirks, the way its deadliest creatures often looked harmless, would soon become their greatest strength in the stars. 3 months later, the Thalaxian research base stood complete in the mountains of Gangwon Province, ready to begin a scientific mission that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. The alien research base gleamed in the morning sunlight. Built in just 3 months, it stood in a remote valley in Gangwon Province, surrounded by forests and mountains. Solar panels covered its dome-shaped roof, and strange devices pointed at the sky. Dr. Jisoo Park stepped out of the shuttle that had brought her from Seoul. She breathed in the fresh mountain air and smiled. After months of planning, the joint human-alien research team was finally ready to begin work. Dr. Park, welcome back. Sun Woo Choi waved from the entrance of the base. The young wildlife guide had been hired to help the aliens explore the Korean wilderness. His bright smile and easy laugh hit a sharp mind that noticed everything. How are our visitors doing? Jisoo asked as they walked inside. Sun Woo laughed. Still very confused by Earth. Yesterday, Director Kurthal saw a ladybug and nearly jumped out of his skin when I told him they can bite. Inside the main lab, 5 Thalaxians worked at strange floating screens. Their blue-scaled skin reflected the light as they moved. Director Kurthal looked up as the humans entered. Dr. Park, excellent timing. We are planning today's expedition. The main screen showed a map of the surrounding area. Small dots in many colors marked different animals that had been tagged. We wish to understand this concept of mimicry better, said Science Officer Vextal, where dangerous things pretend to be safe, and safe things pretend to be dangerous. Jisoo nodded. It's a key part of evolution on Earth. Some animals look scary to avoid being eaten even if they're harmless. Others look friendly to trick prey into coming closer. The aliens' head tentacles twitched in what the humans had learned was a sign of discomfort. On our world, this would never work, Director Kurthal said. If a creature falsely appeared dangerous, others would quickly learn the truth and eat it anyway. If a predator tried to look harmless, prey would still detect its predator hormones and flee. Earth is different, Sun Woo said with a small smile. Here, looks can be very deceiving. An hour later, the research team headed into the forest. 3 Thalaxians, including Director Kurthal, walked with Jisoo and Sun Woo. They carried sample containers and scanning devices. Sun Woo led them to a small stream. Watch the water carefully, he said, pointing to some colorful stones. The aliens stared at the stream. Suddenly, one of the stones moved. It was a fish, perfectly camouflaged to look like the rocks around it. Fascinating, said one alien, scanning the fish. It matches the exact color pattern of the rocks. Many animals here do that, Jisoo explained. They hide by looking like something else. They continued hiking. Sunwoo stopped near some flowers, where tiny insects buzzed around. "Look at this bee," he said, carefully catching a small insect in a clear box. "It has yellow and black stripes, which on Earth means, 'I can hurt you. Stay away.'" The alien scanned it. "But this is not a bee," Director Kurthal said, confused. "It has no stinger." "Exactly," Sunwoo grinned. "It's a hoverfly. Completely harmless, but it looks like a bee, so predators leave it alone." Throughout the day, Sunwoo showed the aliens more examples. A butterfly with fake eyes on its wings that made it look like a larger animal. Plants with flowers that smelled like rotting meat to attract flies, spiders that looked exactly like bird droppings. Each discovery seemed to disturb the aliens more. Their world had simple rules. Dangerous things looked dangerous. Safe things looked safe. Earth broke all these rules. After lunch, Sunwoo led them to a special research center nearby. "I want to show you some animals that aren't native to Korea, but are perfect examples of Earth's deceptive creatures," he said. The first tank contained a small, colorful frog with bright blue and yellow skin. "This is a poison dart frog," Jisoo explained. "Its skin contains enough poison to kill 10 adult humans." The aliens moved closer, fascinated. "It's so pretty," Director Kurthal said. "On our world, something so deadly would be dark-colored and have visible warning spikes." "Here, the bright color is the warning," Sunwoo said. "But not all colorful animals are dangerous. Some harmless ones copy the colors of dangerous ones for protection." Next, they saw a strange creature with a duck-like bill, a beaver-like tail, and webbed feet. "This is a platypus," Jisoo said. "It looks funny and cute, but male platypuses have venomous spurs on their back legs. The venom causes pain so bad that even strong pain medicine doesn't help." One of the aliens made a strange clicking sound of distress. "It appears completely harmless." "That's the point," Sunwoo said. "Predators think the same thing until it's too late." The final tank held water with what looked like empty space. Sunwoo pointed to a nearly invisible creature. "This is a blue-ringed octopus. When it's calm, you can barely see it. But when threatened..." Sunwoo tapped gently on the glass. Suddenly, bright blue rings appeared all over the small octopus. "Its venom can kill a human in minutes," Jisoo explained. "No known medicine can save you once it bites." Director Kurthal stepped back. "So small, yet so deadly, and it only shows its warning when already threatened." The alien turned to Jisoo. "How do humans survive on such a world, where danger hides behind beauty or cuteness?" Jisoo thought for a moment. "We learn. We teach our children. We pass down knowledge about what's dangerous, even if it doesn't look that way." As they walked back to the base that evening, Sunwoo noticed the aliens staying closer together, watching the forest with all 4 of their eyes. "I think they're starting to understand," he whispered to Jisoo. "Earth shaped humans differently than their world shaped them. We're used to looking beyond appearances." "That's true," Jisoo replied. "But I wonder why they're so interested in this specific aspect of Earth. There's something they're not telling us." Back at the base, Director Kurthal sent a private message to the Thalaxian ship in orbit. "Research confirms initial theory. Earth's evolutionary path created a species that doesn't trust appearances. Humans naturally look for deception and hidden dangers. This explains their complex social behaviors and their advanced military strategies despite their young civilization. They assume things might not be what they seem, a concept foreign to most Union species. This trait may be more valuable than we initially thought, especially considering the Vorax situation at the Outer Rim." The alien closed the message and looked out at the darkening forest. Tomorrow, they would go deeper into the mountains, where larger predators lived. Creatures that looked soft and cuddly, but could tear even a Thalaxian apart. Earth was proving to be the strangest, and possibly most important world they had ever discovered. Dark clouds gathered over the mountains of Gangwon Province. The research team had traveled farther than usual today, exploring a remote valley known for its wildlife. Sunwoo Choi checked his weather device and frowned. A storm is coming. We should head back to base. Director Kurthal's 4 eyes looked at the sky. We have not finished collecting samples. Surely Earth weather is not dangerous to beings who have traveled between stars. Hanul Yoon, a young biologist who had joined the team last week, pointed to the north. Mountain storms move very fast here. We could get trapped. The alien scientist made a dismissive gesture with his long blue fingers. We will leave when our work is complete. Sunwoo and Hanul exchanged worried looks. The aliens still didn't understand that Earth itself could be dangerous, not just its animals. An hour later, the storm hit with shocking speed. Heavy rain poured down, and wind bent the trees. Thunder crashed overhead, making the Thalaxians' head tentacles pull tight against their skulls in fear. We must find shelter, shouted Director Kurthal over the howling wind. Our equipment cannot get wet. The group tried to stay together as they moved toward a rocky area where they might find a cave, but the heavy rain made it hard to see and the wind pushed them in different directions. Suddenly, a loud crack split the air. A massive tree fell across the path separating the group. On one side stood Sunwoo and Hanul with 2 of the aliens, a young researcher named Nexcole and Director Kurthal. The rest of the team was on the other side. We can't get past this, Hanul shouted into her communication device. Return to base. We'll find shelter and join you tomorrow. Through the static, they heard the others agree before the signal died. Completely. The storm is blocking communications, Sunwoo said. We're on our own. They found a small cave in the hillside and hurried inside. It was dry and deep enough to protect them from the storm. Sunwoo used an emergency light to brighten the space. The temperature is dropping, said Nexicole, the younger alien. His scales had turned a paler blue, which the humans had learned meant he was cold. Sunwoo pulled emergency blankets from his pack. The storm might last all night. We should make a fire. As the humans gathered wood from just outside the cave, Director Kurthal scanned the area with his devices. This place has been used by animals. There are traces of fur and waste material. Probably just small animals seeking shelter like us, Hanul said, helping Sunwoo build a small fire. Nothing to worry about. Soon the cave was warm and lit by the flickering fire. Outside, the storm continued to rage. The aliens sat close to the fire, their scales gradually returning to their normal deep blue color. Human adaptation continues to impress me, Director Kurthal said. You are not particularly strong or fast. You have no natural weapons. Yet you survive in environments that would kill most species. Sunwoo smiled. We're good at using our brains to solve problems, and we learn from our mistakes. Speaking of learning, Hanul said, why is the Galactic Union so interested in Earth's deceptive creatures? There must be other planets with similar evolution. The aliens were quiet for a moment. Finally, Director Kurthal spoke. There are not. Most worlds develop simple rules. Dangerous things look dangerous. It helps all species survive. But Earth... He paused. Earth created a competition between predator and prey that led to deception as a survival strategy. It is rare. A strange noise from outside interrupted them. Something large was moving in the forest. What is that? Whispered Nexcole, his scales now turning green with fear. Sunwoo moved to the cave entrance and shined his light into the darkness. He saw nothing at first. Then a huge shape moved between the trees. A large animal on 4 legs. It's a bear, he whispered, backing up slowly. A big one. A predator? Asked Director Kurthal, standing up. Yes, but it's probably just passing by. If we stay quiet, it will... The bear suddenly charged toward the cave entrance, but it wasn't attacking. It was running from something. It's afraid, Hanul said in surprise. Something scared a full-grown bear? As they watched in shock, the bear disappeared into the stormy darkness. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a small white shape appeared at the cave entrance. It was fluffy and round with big black eyes and tiny paws. It looked at the group and made a soft sound. What is that creature? Asked Nexcole, moving closer. It looks harmless. Sunwoo's eyes widened in horror. "Stop, don't go near it." But the alien didn't listen. On his world, small cute things were never dangerous. He reached out toward the fluffy white animal. "It's a polar bear cub," Hanil said urgently. "And where there's a cub," a deafening roar cut her off. From the darkness outside, a massive white shape charged into the cave. The mother bear, over, 8 feet tall on her hind legs with teeth and claws designed to tear flesh. "Get back," Sunwoo yelled, grabbing Nexcole and pulling him away. But Director Kurthal, following his species' instincts, moved toward the larger animal instead of away. On his world, showing fear to a predator triggered an attack. Standing tall and approaching was the safe response. It was exactly the wrong thing to do with an Earth predator protecting her young. The mother bear swung a massive paw at the alien. Claws that could tear through seal hide would easily rip through. Thalaxian scales. Without thinking, Hanel jumped forward, pushing Director Kurthal out of the way. The bear's claws caught her arm instead, tearing her jacket and drawing blood. Sunwoo grabbed a burning branch from the fire and waved it at the bear, shouting loudly. The fire and noise confused the animal. She backed up, gathered her cub by the scruff of its neck, and retreated into the storm. "Are you hurt badly?" Sunwoo asked Hanul, checking her arm. "Just scratches," she said, though her face was pale. "The jacket took most of it." Director Kurthal stared at the humans in shock. You saved me. You knew the large creature was dangerous, not the small one. You risked your life." "Of course we did," Hanul said, wincing as Sunwoo bandaged her arm. "That's what humans do." "But why? Your instinct to protect even extends to other species, even one that ignored your warning." Sunwoo looked the alien in all 4 of his eyes. "On Earth, those who can't tell real danger from false appearances don't survive long. We've evolved to protect those who haven't learned that lesson yet." For the first time since they'd met the Thalaxians, Director Kurthal's head tentacles relaxed completely, a sign of deep respect in their culture. "I begin to understand," he said quietly. "Your species evolved in a world where danger hides behind beauty, where cute things can kill, where nothing is as it seems. It made you cautious, yet brave, suspicious, yet protective." Outside, the storm began to fade. But inside the cave, something important had changed between humans and aliens. The Galactic Union had discovered something unexpected on Earth, not just creatures that used deception to survive, but a species that had evolved to see through deception and still chose to protect others who couldn't. 3 weeks after the bear incident, Captain Do-hyun Kim stood in the main room of the International Space Station. The large screen in front of him showed the face of Director Kurthal. "So the Thalaxian High Council has approved our visit?" Do-hyun asked. "Yes," Director Kurthal replied. "The events in the cave convinced us that humans have a unique perspective that the Galactic Union needs to understand better. We invite a small team to visit Thalax Prime." Do-hyun smiled. "This was a huge step for humanity. When do we leave?" "Our ship will be ready in 3 days. Please select your team carefully, Captain. Our world is very different from Earth." After the call ended, Do-hyun immediately contacted the Earth United Nations. Within hours, they had approved the mission and the team members. Captain Do-hyun Kim as Earth's ambassador Sunwoo Choi, now with the official title, Evolutionary Threat Assessment Specialist Dr. Jisoo Park, eager to study alien biology Hyunjin Bai, an expert in how humans think about danger. 3 days later, they boarded the massive alien ship Endless Inquiry. The journey to Thalax Prime would take 2 weeks through something the aliens called fold space. The humans had their own section of the ship with Earth-like gravity and air. From their windows, they watched as Earth grew smaller until it was just a blue dot and then vanished completely as the ship entered fold space. "I still can't believe I'm here," Sunwoo said one evening as they ate dinner in their common room. 2 months ago, I was just a wildlife guide. Now I'm traveling to an alien world." "You earned it," Jisoo said. "Your knowledge of Earth's animals helped the aliens understand us better." Hyunjin, who had been quiet so far, finally spoke. "I've been reviewing the reports from the research base. The Thalaxians are fascinated by how humans think about danger. It's like they've never met a species that evolved with predators who use deception. Maybe they haven't. Do-hyun said. The universe is vast. Maybe Earth's evolutionary path is rare. 2 weeks passed quickly. The humans spent their time learning about Thalaxian culture and language. Finally, the ship emerged from fold space, near a strange-looking planet. Thalax Prime was mostly water, with scattered islands of land. 3 moons orbited it, each a different color, one red, one green, and one glowing blue. Welcome to our homeworld, Director Kurthal said as they approached, the birthplace of the Galactic Union. The ship landed on a large floating platform in the middle of a vast ocean. Buildings made of shining metal and strange crystal rose from the water, connected by bridges that seemed to be made of light. As the humans stepped out of the ship, they felt the warm, moist air. The gravity was slightly less than Earth's, making them feel lighter. Remember your breathing devices, Jisoo warned. The air here has less oxygen than we're used to. A group of Thalaxians waited to greet them. Unlike Director Kurthal's team, these aliens wore colorful robes and had complex patterns painted on their scales. The High Council welcomes Earth's representatives, said the tallest alien whose scales were a deep purple color. I am Speaker Molthar. Do-hyun bowed slightly. We are honored to be the first humans to visit your world. The next few days were filled with tours and meetings. The humans saw the amazing technology of Thalax Prime, floating cities, underwater farms, and medical devices that could heal almost any injury. But what interested them most was Thalaxian nature. Jisoo spent hours in their wildlife preserves, studying the plants and animals. What she found amazed her. Everything here is exactly what it seems, she told the others one evening. Poisonous plants are all dark purple with visible warning, spikes. Predators all have obvious claws and teeth. Harmless animals are all round and soft-looking. No camouflage? Sunwoo asked. No mimicry? None. It's like their evolution followed a completely different path than Earth's. There was never an arms race between predator and prey. Everything developed clear signals about whether it was dangerous or safe. On the 5th day, they were invited to a special meeting with the High Council. The council chamber was a massive room with a circular table. 12 Thalaxians sat around it, with the humans and Director Kurthal seated between them. Speaker Molthar began the meeting. We have reviewed all the research from Earth. We find your planet's evolutionary strategy disturbing, yet fascinating. It explains much about human psychology and culture. Hyunjin, the expert on human threat perception, leaned forward. How so? Your species evolved in an environment where appearances were often deceiving, where beautiful things could kill and dangerous things could look harmless. It made your brains develop differently than ours. Another council member spoke. You humans automatically question what you see. You look for hidden motives, for deception, for danger, hiding behind friendly faces. This makes you naturally suspicious, naturally analytical. Is that bad? Do-hyun asked carefully. Not bad, Speaker Molthar said. Different, and potentially very valuable. The council showed them a hologram of the galaxy. Small lights represented different worlds in the Galactic Union. But at the edge, a red area was spreading. This is Vorax space, explained Director Kurthal. A species we encountered 50 years ago. They refused to join the Union. Instead, they began conquering nearby systems. What makes them so dangerous? Sunwoo asked. Their strategy, said Speaker Molthar. The Vorax are massive armored beings. They appear extremely dangerous. Large weapons, scary ships, aggressive behavior. When they approach a planet, they make threats and display their power. And most species surrender immediately, added another council member. Because in most evolutionary systems, something that looks that dangerous is that dangerous. Do-hyun began to understand. But you think humans might react differently? Yes, said Director Kurthal. Because on Earth, dangerous things don't always look dangerous, and things that try to look very dangerous aren't always as threatening as they appear. Hyunjin nodded slowly. On Earth, animals that make the biggest displays are often bluffing, like a pufferfish that blows up to look bigger, or a cat that arches its back and raises its fur. Exactly, said Speaker Malthar. We think humans might see through the Vorax strategy. You might notice weaknesses that other species miss because they're too focused on the obvious threats. The hologram changed to show images of the Vorax, massive beings with thick armor and many weapons. The Union needs fresh perspectives, Director Kurthal said. Earth's evolutionary path created a species that naturally looks beyond appearances. We believe this might be the key to stopping the Vorax expansion. Do-hyun looked at his team. This was bigger than they had imagined. They hadn't just been invited to learn about alien culture, they were being asked to help save it. We will share what we know, Do-hyun said carefully. But first, we need to learn more about these Vorax. In Earth's history, appearances weren't the only deception. Sometimes the real threat wasn't what you could see, but what you couldn't. The Thalaxian Council members' head tentacles moved in a pattern the humans now recognized as deep interest. Please explain, Speaker Malthar said. And so began a new chapter in the relationship between Earth and the Galactic Union, one where humanity's evolution among deceptively cute dangers would prove to be their greatest strength among the stars. 6 months after the humans' visit to Thalax Prime, an emergency message reached Earth. The Vorax had increased their attacks. 3 more systems had fallen to their forces. The Galactic Union was calling an emergency meeting, and Earth's team was specifically requested to attend. Captain Do-hyun Kim stood on the bridge of the Endless Inquiry as it prepared to leave Earth's orbit. With him were Sunwoo Choi, Dr. Jisoo Park, and Hyunjin Bae. They had spent the last month studying everything they could about the Vorax. Are we ready? Do-hyun asked his team. Sunwoo nodded. As ready as we'll ever be, though I'm still just a wildlife guide who somehow ended up in the middle of an alien war. That's exactly why you're perfect for this, Jisoo said. You understand deception in nature better than anyone. 2 weeks later, they arrived at the Galactic Union headquarters, a massive space station orbiting a star at the center of Union space. Representatives from 50 different species had gathered for the emergency meeting. The main hall was huge, with seating for hundreds of beings of all shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human, while others were completely alien. Floating clouds of gas, crystalline structures, or creatures with too many limbs to count. Speaker Malthar of the Thalaxian High Council opened the meeting. The Vorax advance continues. Their latest target is the Centrilix system, a key Union world with important resources. A hologram appeared in the center of the room, showing a massive fleet of warships. The Vorax vessels were covered in sharp spikes and painted with what looked like blood. They looked terrifying. Their strategy remains the same, continued Speaker Malthar. They appear in overwhelming force. They make threats. They display their weapons, and worlds surrender rather than face destruction. An alien from a species the humans hadn't seen before spoke up. Why are these humans here? What can such a young species offer against the Vorax threat? Director Kurthal stood. Earth evolved differently than most worlds. There, the most dangerous things often look harmless. It created a species that doesn't trust appearances, a species that looks deeper. Hyunjin stepped forward. We've studied your records of Vorax attacks. We've noticed something important. The Vorax always rely on fear. They make themselves look as scary as possible, but they rarely actually destroy a planet. Because they want the resources intact, said a crystalline being near the front. Yes, Do-hyun agreed, but also because they may not be as powerful as they appear. A murmur ran through the crowd. The idea that the Vorax might be bluffing seemed impossible to many of the aliens, Sunwoo explained. On Earth, we have animals that make themselves look bigger and more dangerous when threatened. A cat will arch its back and raise its fur. A pufferfish will expand to many times its normal size. But these are defensive moves, not offensive ones. The Vorax ships are covered in spikes and weapons, Jisoo added. But how many of those weapons are real? How many are just for show? The Union representatives looked at each other in confusion. The idea of false weapons had never occurred to most of them. We analyzed the energy readings from Vorax ships, Hyunjin said. Many of their weapon ports show no power signatures. They're empty just for show. This caused an even bigger stir in the hall. If you're right, Speaker Molthar said, then their main strategy has been intimidation, not actual force. Exactly, Do-hyun said. And we humans have a long history of dealing with intimidation. We propose a new strategy, one that turns the Vorax approach against them. Over the next several hours, the humans outlined their plan. Instead of massing Union forces to directly confront the Vorax fleet approaching Centrilix, they would send a seemingly small defensive force, one that looked weak, but was actually strong. The Vorax expect immediate surrender, Do-hyun explained. When they don't get it, but also don't face the massive resistance they expect, they'll be confused. Their whole strategy is based on fear. If we don't show fear, they won't know what to do. And meanwhile, Sun-woo continued, the real Union fleet will circle around and approach from behind, not with big, scary-looking ships, but with small, fast ones that don't look dangerous at all. The plan was risky. Many representatives were afraid. But in the end, the Union Council voted to try the human approach. They had nothing to lose. The traditional methods weren't working. 3 weeks later, the trap was set. When the massive Vorax armada approached Centrilix, they found only a small defensive force waiting for them. The Vorax commander, visible on the communication screens, was a huge, heavily armored being with multiple weapons attached to its body. Surrender now, the Vorax commander demanded, or face total destruction. Captain Do-hyun, leading the defensive force, shocked everyone with his response. He laughed. Those are impressive ships you have, he said casually. Very scary looking. All those spikes must make it hard to fly in tight spaces, though. The Vorax commander seemed confused by this response. You dare mock the might of the Vorax? Your defense force is pathetic. Oh, this isn't our defense force, Do-hyun said with a smile. This is just the welcoming committee. At that moment, the real Union fleet appeared behind the Vorax ships. Not large, intimidating vessels, but hundreds of small, fast ships that looked almost harmless until they opened fire with weapons far more powerful than their size suggested. The Vorax, caught by surprise and surrounded, did something no one expected. They ran away. Without firing a single shot, more than half their fleet turned and fled. Those that stayed fought poorly, confirming the humans' theory. The Vorax relied on fear, not skill. The battle was over quickly. For the first time, the Galactic Union had won a clear victory against the Vorax. In the celebration that followed, Speaker Molthar approached the human team. Your strategy worked perfectly. The Vorax never expected an enemy that didn't fear their appearance. On Earth, Sun-woo said, we learned long ago not to trust appearances. The cute blue-ringed octopus can kill you. The fluffy bear cub leads to its dangerous mother. We look beyond what we can see. The Union needs this perspective, Speaker Molthar said. We offer Earth full membership in the Galactic Union, with special status as consultants on security matters. Captain Do-hyun accepted the offer with pride. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not because they were stronger or more advanced, but because they had evolved on a world where the deadliest things often looked adorably harmless. As representatives from 50 worlds raised their glasses in a toast, Sun-woo smiled at his friends. Who would have thought, he said, that all those wildlife tours showing off cute but deadly animals would help save the galaxy? The universe had learned what Earth's predators discovered millions of years ago. Sometimes the most dangerous things come in the cutest packages, and sometimes the most valuable allies are those who have learned to see past appearances to the truth that lies beneath. The end.